What is going on, family? Welcome back to another video and this channel. My name is Dr. Brian McElderry. I'm a holistic life and business coach, speaker, and author. And on this channel, you're going to learn how to master your life, how to become that authentic thought leader in your own right, how to discover your purpose and your passion and spark the love, the money, and the joy, the happiness and fulfillment that you ultimately want. And if that is you, if you are seeking that out, if you are someone that is not done yet, if you're somebody that is like, I want to grab life by the horns, I want to understand all I can to make the best out of the time we have here on this earth, then I want you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and turn on those notifications for me, because that will allow you to get notified when I actually push out another video based on business, life, personal development, relationships, finance, whatever we are trying to grow in that area, you'll be notified of that. That being said, if you want to know more about what I do and who I am, check the description down below. There's all the information there for you to understand that, hey, I don't know who this guy is, and I'm fully aware of that, right? For many of you, you're coming on here maybe because of the title and you don't know who I am. I want to build the trust with you. I want to go along this journey with you to let you know that I'm just human like you, but I've decided to start this platform to spark the conversations, to get us understanding of how we can relish in the moments that we have and make the best of them, and show ourselves that the opportunities that we are missing are actually right in front of our face, okay? So in this video, let's go ahead and hop into it. I've got my tea, got my computer. I'm gonna make sure that we are coming together as a family and understanding and working through this together. So what I have for us today is a plan for uncertainty. And you're probably wondering, Brian, I came here for the goods. Now you got my hopes all up. How in the world can I plan for something I have no idea that is coming? And many of you have maybe experienced that during seasons prior to 2020, seasons prior to that, or maybe you're experiencing right now in this moment, and that's why you clicked on this video, right? So we're gonna work through this together, all right? So I wanna make sure we understand, just as my coaching sessions that I do on my podcast and many other platforms that I'm on, I like to make sure that we're understanding of what the words that are coming out of our mouth actually mean, okay? So uncertainty here, as we conceptualize it, is actually a range of possibilities, right? So it's all these possibilities and thoughts that are going on in our mind that we want to understand more about. We're trying to create pictures. We're trying to create scenarios in our lives. And a lot of times it's just possibilities that are being thrown out that have not come yet into reality, right? And within those possibilities, there's actually truth. And what we're seeking a lot of times is simply truth. We're trying to uncover all these possibilities of what's to come, what's gonna happen with my finances, what's gonna happen with my relationship, what's gonna happen with my career and my job or my business, what is to come of this next season in our lives. And a lot of times it's hard for us, right? So we understand that now, right? That it's a range of possibilities, of thought processes that we are actually creating from subconsciously past experiences that we've had. So if you're on here right now and you're like, where are these thoughts coming from around negativity or something that could happen that has not yet happened? I want you to do this one exercise. I want you to think for just a second. If you're meditative, I want you to think back to a time where maybe that has shown up in your life in some way. All right, because it has shown up, but because you're so far removed from it, it begins to fade. We have not brought it back to light. So sometimes we got to bring our past back to light to understand more around why we feel stuck in the present moment or why we're so scared of future moments, okay? So now we understand that uncertainty is the range of possibilities within truth that we're trying to discover, all right? It's also said by a famous Stoic philosopher, Seneca. If you're not familiar with Stoicism, it is one of my tried and true resources for understanding a lot of what we are trying to do. So I'm gonna actually give you some homework there. Go look up the word Stoicism and the definition of it. And that is something that you can actively do when you leave here. So you're just not listening and consuming, but I want you to be active in your own empowerment journey. All right, so the whole future lies in uncertainty, but we must live immediately. I'm gonna repeat that again. Seneca states that the whole future lies in uncertainty, but we must remain present, still, and we must act immediately right now. Okay? So if we think about it, everything that's happened up until this point, you might have thought you had planned it, but in reality, it has been inevitable, and there have been so many moving parts to maybe you didn't see this direction of which way it was going to go, but maybe you ended up here. Everything along the journey was uncertain. So everything in the future is uncertain simply from the fact that it has not happened yet. So in reality, we can make projections and prediction based on numbers, and I'm a science person in my background, so I understand that 1 + 1 obviously is always going to equal 2, but then you can take the square root of 2 and you can take the division of the number and you can move things around and you can create this whole new scenario. So in reality, what is the real answer that we're seeking, right? All right, so now we've got that. We've got number 1, the definition. Number 2, we've got a different concept or a philosophy from somebody that has done it before or been there before. Now, let's go into why in the world, okay? Why in the world I believe this is something that we must embrace, okay? And the first step that I want you to do is embrace the uncertainty, okay? This is gonna be a 3-step process. The first step is to embrace exactly where you are in the season that you're in. When you embrace and you understand that this is where I am right now, and you understand that I cannot control anything other than what I'm doing right now, and it might seem like it's like a broken record, right? You're not coming here a lot of times for anything new because you're coming here trying to hear a different perspective, or you need to be reminded of it, or you're trying to get in order what steps you should take to plan for this uncertainty, right? Again, it's a figure of speech because you really can't plan, but we do have steps into place to make it as best as possible so we are ready for whenever that opportunity comes or that thing hits us in life, right? Okay, so I want us to embrace it, all right? So the second step is I want us to expect that it is going to happen. Okay, and you might think those two are roughly the same, but in reality, you've brought to awareness that you are right where you need to be emotionally, right? You've embraced everything that you're feeling right now. Second, you have to you have to accept the fact, you have to realize the fact, you've become aware, now you have to accept the fact and expect that it's going to happen. Right? That the inevitable is going to happen, whatever that may be. Okay? So we embrace it and then we expect it. And the last thing is that we begin to remove our focus from those negative thoughts that we're having, all those possibilities, right? And then we begin to focus on actually what we can do in the moment. So you become aware, you've gained acceptance, and now you focused on action. Okay, so when you do those 3 steps, it's very simplistic, but you will see that when you do that, however long it takes you, right? For some, it might take them a week to get through all these steps. For some, it might take a couple of days. For others that are very, very high level, intelligent EQ type of people, IQ and EQ have a high level emotional intelligence. They're able to capture those negative thoughts, and we'll dive into those maybe a little bit later in some other videos. So comment down below if that's something you want to learn about more around emotional intelligence, right? How can we become more attached to our emotions and utilize them for our lives, for the betterment of our lives? Okay, so number 1, embrace. Number 2, expect. Number 3, we must reallocate our attention and focus on what we can do. Okay, so whatever that might be, there's power in momentum. There's power in the small wins that you have every single day. All right, so now that we've got that in order, I want you to know this final thought that I have for you, which is the serenity prayer. Okay, God granted you, or whoever you may believe in, but I believe that you believe in something here, right? So God granted you the serenity to accept the things that you cannot change. He also gave you the courage to change the things that you can, and also the wisdom to know the difference. If we remember this in our own form or fashion, if we remember exactly these words, if we understand that we can, number one, embrace and accept where we are, then we can move on to understand that we have to expect that there are things that are going to come into our lives that we cannot control. And then we can reallocate our attention and our focus on what we can to actually make things happen. We can actually make momentum move for us. Because what we forget to realize is that we think that a whole week, right, has been awful because we've had compounded interest on what we have focused on, which typically is the negative of our lives, right? But if you add up the small wins, you will realize that there's actually a hedge. There's actually a leverage that you have with the wins versus the negative, right? Successful people always say they failed, right, more than they've actually won. But the ones who actually focus on the things that they can control every single day, that's when you begin to see the separation from those that are actually where they want to be and those that are actually still stagnant, trying to plan for the perfected time span of when they should start and when they should actually, get their life in order. All these things, right? We're here to grow together. We're here to learn together, and hopefully these simplistic steps for you to plan for the uncertain times help you get the ball rolling, right? So if that did in any way, if it showed you that, hey, I can start somewhere and then I can get a little bit more granular, because a lot of times we forget the simplistic steps of where we need to start. So if it helped you in any way, please go ahead and hit a like, hit me a comment, let me know your thoughts as well. What have you been doing to plan for uncertain times? How have you handled the uncertainty over these past months that we've had together? And this is in the future. Maybe there are still uncertain times that are going to come, right? We talked about the future lies in uncertainty from Seneca. And if it did hit you in any way, please let me know how I could support you any further. But that being said, until next time, I'll see you in the next video.